Welcome to the All-State Sugar Bowl. New Orleans, Louisiana, Oklahoma, champions of the Big 12, Auburn of the SEC. War Eagle against Boomer Sooner. And the Sooners bring stars like quarterback Baker Mayfield. His receiver, another Heisman Trophy finalist, D.D. Westbrook. Auburn welcomes back the big fella, the diesel, Cameron Petway. Good evening, everybody, and welcome. With Jesse Palmer, I'm Brett Musburger. Shortly, we'll hear from Kaylee Hartung. Jesse, we always get good games out of the Dome in New Orleans.
Yeah, we got a great matchup here tonight, don't we? I think we've got two confident teams, really for different reasons. The Sooners obviously come in riding a 9-game win streak. You mentioned it. Their offense features 2 Heisman finalists. They score points in bunches. Their defense really got better in the second half of the season. You look at Auburn, meanwhile, played great defense all season long. They had a 6-game win streak in the middle of the year. They were running the football beautifully, and then the injury bug hit them. To their quarterback, to their running back. They kind of stumbled down the stretch, lost to Georgia and Bama, but at those skill spots, they come into this game tonight healthy, and I think that gives their players and this coaching staff some confidence. I think they feel like they match up schematically very well with the Sooners tonight.
Happy New Year, buddy.
Happy New Year, buddy.
Kickoff is coming. Auburn and Oklahoma in the Sugar Bowl. Gus Malzahn and the Tigers poised to come out of their tunnel. Oklahoma riding a 9-game winning streak, and they've got Sugar Bowl history now. They went to 3 straight appearances, late 40s, early 50s. And oh yes, back in '72 they defeated Auburn 40-22, and then 1972 they shut out Joe Paterno and Penn State. And then their last 2, but note that one on the bottom, folks. 3 bowls ago, 45-31 over Alabama. High-flying Sooners, champions of the Big 12, and here they come. This has been the Nissan pregame rush.
No one comes here looking for R&R. You come here for the open all-night kind of life. For a one-of-a-kind sights, sounds, and attitude. New Orleans isn't just a city, it's a celebration. And tonight, the Big Easy's Party Central is the Sugar Bowl. These are the Sooners, a high pedigree program. Baker, D.D., and the Boomers are ready to drown out the sounds of Bourbon Street and play themselves out on a high note. War Eagle's defense has made opponents bitter this season. Matched with a punishing run game, and Auburn's night could end oh so sweetly. Man, what a year it's been. And now, where the spirit of Mardi Gras and magic meet, it's the last call for football. Oklahoma and Auburn keeping the party going in the All-State Sugar Bowl.
And welcome, folks, to the All-State Sugar Bowl. You are looking live at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans. Oklahoma, champions of the Big 12, meets up with Auburn of the SEC. If you like high-scoring football, folks, pull up a chair. Oklahoma, led by 2 Heisman Trophy finalists, is averaging almost 45 points a game. Auburn, 32 points a game. Oh, boy. we got excitement. Right now, we got the opening coin toss as the captains move out to the center of the field, and they will greet this officiating crew from the Big Ten.
Gentlemen, congratulations on your selection to play in the 83rd Annual All-State Sugar Bowl. We're going to flip a special coin tonight. The coin is special in that on one side of the coin has the helmets of both teams, which will be the heads. And on the flip side of that is the All-State Sugar Bowl logo, which will serve as the tails. Okay? Any questions? Flipping the coin will be Mr. Matt Winter. He is the president of Allstate Company, as well as the chief executive officer of Allstate Insurance Company. Auburn, you are the visitor. Heads is the call. Mr. Winter, to be so kind. It is a heads. Auburn, you run the clock. You'll receive. Which way do you care to kick? What? Which way do you want to kick? Why don't you turn your back that way? Auburn, turn your back this way. Auburn has won the toss and will receive.
Our head coaches, Bob Stoops, Gus Malzahn. Well, one way to slow down that Oklahoma offense is to take the ball right away.
Yeah, no doubt about it. When you look at Oklahoma offensively, to say that they're explosive really is an understatement. They are a home run waiting to happen, and they feature the best quarterback-receiver duo in the entire country in Mayfield and Westbrook. They love to take shots, and one of their favorite schemes is to roll Mayfield away from D.D. Westbrook and then throw the post backside. By rolling out Mayfield, they're able to occupy that safety, get him out of center field. That opens up the area for Westbrook to make use of that explosive speed, and there's a 58-yard dime thrown by Baker Mayfield. Now, there's different ways you can get to it. They can use a slot receiver on this example, running a post inside to occupy the safety, and that's going to open up the post deep down the field for D.D. Westbrook outside again. I think Baker Mayfield is the most accurate deep ball thrower in all of college football. They're going to have their hands full today, though, because Auburn has an outstanding defensive line, the best they've faced, and they're going to have to make sure Baker Mayfield stays upright. They protect him so he can take advantage of his Bolitnikoff Award winner outside.
So, Kaylee Hartong, how do they handle this combo tonight?
Well, Brent, Auburn's watched enough film on Oklahoma's offense to know that if D.D. Westbrook is not in his home spot lined up on the left side of the field, watch out because something is coming. So defensive coordinator Kevin Steele got creative in his game planning here. He went to his graduate assistants. He said, draw me up 12 cards. He said, be the offensive coordinator. Put Westbrook anywhere on the field. Reverses, reverse passes, gas routes. Just don't put him in that #1 spot to the left. He liked the plays as GAs drew up so much they actually repped him in practice. Brent, when you got a month to prepare, you might as well get creative.
Thank you, Kaylee. Must be the shoes for the kicker, huh? We're underway. Taking a knee is Truitt, and now Jess, this will give us a chance to talk about the Auburn quarterback.
And really, Brent, when he was healthy, he was playing at a really high level. He was the most efficient passer in the SEC. Very accurate in the short to intermediate range. Does a good job playing on time. He was able to avoid mistakes. He's an underrated athlete that can hurt you running in the zone read game and on scrambles. But you see the injury to his right shoulder. He suffered against Ole Miss late in the season. Really hampered him down the stretch. But having these 4 weeks off has brought him back, and he's giving this football team a ton of confidence.
The big fella going to block on this first down pass, complete on the opening play of the game, and that's freshman Eli Stowe.
And I think that proves the confidence of this coaching staff. Very first play, let Sean White rip it out to the right side in a quick out route.
Now they come back with the diesel. Pounds to the 40-yard line.
How happy are they on offense to get Cam Petway back? Remember, he hurt his quad against Vanderbilt. This is the leading rusher in the SEC, averaging 125 yards a game, and he brings a physicality to this offense.
Up under center. Got the jet sweep handoff on it and they come right back with Stowe. just short of the first down. So the key on that play was the quarterback moved up right underneath the center. Here is third down and manageable.
And Brent, Auburn's trying to get physical. They're playing with 6 offensive linemen right now, trying to push Oklahoma around.
Stove motions again. They come back with Petway. Easy first down. Cruises across midfield. What a difference when number 36 is healthy and number 13.
Yeah, Petway, 6 feet tall, 240 pounds, and is a punishing runner. He's the type of guy that gets better as the game goes on. As you're seeing, he can wear down a defense.
Steps away from it, breaks 2 tackles, 3 tackles. Oh, my.
I think the toughness of this Oklahoma defense is going to get tested. I think this is easily the most physical rushing attack they've seen since Ohio State. Now, that was a game they gave up 291 rushing yards. It's imperative up front. Oklahoma, they've got to be good at the point of attack. They can't get moved. They have to eat up blocks. They have to shed blocks and allow linebackers and safeties to play downhill and fill and tackle.
That was offensive coordinator Rhett Lashley. Calls the plays on the Auburn sideline. First down and 10 on a good-looking march to open the game. Prove that you can stop it. Then we'll stop handing in the ball. And Jordan Evans, they're all everything linebacker with that stop.
Well, right now, Auburn showing a lot of different looks and a lot of different formations and a lot of different personnel packages. They played a lot in 6 offensive linemen early in this drive. Now they're back to a more conventional style. There's Rhett Lashley, their offensive coordinator, calling plays.
Play action. Complete. That is when White is the best passer off play action. He hit Kyle Davis, another freshman. So it is the 2 freshman receivers who have made an impact early as Tony Stevens checks in for Auburn. Gus Malzahn desperately wants to finish off this opening drive. Look at this trickeration here. And Oklahoma was ready for it. You could see the ball carrier was hiding down behind the lineman.
It's the old fumble Ruski play, Brent. That time they had Ryan Davis at receiver, kind of crouched behind the line. It didn't look like at the snap Oklahoma necessarily knew where to line up. Guys are pointing around, but a good job with the eye discipline. That play took way too long to develop. There's Jordan Evans, the leading tackler, making a big stop.
Can't beat the trick plays in the bowl games. Kerryon Johnson, number 21, his first carry of this game. He is close to the 10-yard line. Good run. Parker and Evans. That's Stephen Parker.
They're certainly happy to get Kerryon Johnson back, too. He's basically played the entire season with a bum right ankle.
Coming with tempo. Petway back in on 3rd and 2. Behind the right side of the offensive line for a first down. He moved in behind Braid Smith and Robert Leff that time. And that stop was Okoronkwo.
Good movement up front. You mentioned it, Brent. Right tackle Robert Leff got some push on Neville right here. That's the key, able to wash the right side of that defensive line down, and that gave Petway the space increase he needed to go and convert that first down.
Wildcat formation. Johnson. And a carry it to that right side. Was Oklahoma offside on that play on the right side of the defense, or were they brought off? Let's see here. Yeah, he was. He got a jump, and I thought he might have hit that neutral zone.
Defense number 31. 5-yard penalty. 3-2 first down.
That's Obo Okoronkwo. He's the best pass rusher for Oklahoma. He's going to be coming up down here. Just gets a little bit too much of a jump pre-snap.
So White is back, and Petway's his running back. Petway, and that time it took 4 Sooner defenders but they forced him back.
It was DJ Ward at defensive end that time that fought through a double team. We saw in the last play, it was the end, Neville Gallimore that got pushed out of the way. This time, DJ Ward doing a nice job, as we talked about, being good at the point of attack, not getting moved. You're not going to make the tackle, but you're going to free up linebackers and safeties to rally to the ball.
Opening drive of our game. 2nd down and 5. Petway is tripped up. Stephen Parker penetrated. Number 10 was able to get a hand on him and trip him up.
Oklahoma's Mike Stoops, their D coordinator, trying to find creative ways to get more bodies close to the line of scrimmage and involved. They bring pressure off that left side. We've seen them bring Okoronkwo. That time it was the safety, Stephen Parker.
3rd down and 5. Rolling to the left. Going to keep it. Very close to a 1st down.
Wow. Sean White takes a huge shot from linebacker Jordan Evans. I give Sean White a ton of credit. He's tough. 6 feet tall, 200 pounds, not the biggest quarterback in the country. Takes a lot of big shots, but watch Evans, 26, lower the boom on the quarterback. What a collision.
A Sooner player is shaken up, and the training staff is tending to Jordan Evans after this hit. So he'll have to come off the field. He's getting some attention down there. What a year he has had for the Sooner. Folks, when you look at his numbers, you people back in Oklahoma are well aware, all Big 12. I mean, 89 tackles, 2.5 sacks, 9 tackles for a loss. But the 4 interceptions, consider that. For a linebacker, he's a senior from Norman North High School. What a fine player.
So decision time if you're Gus Malzahn. I think late in the season with all the different injuries they had, without a doubt, he'd be going to his special teams SEC Player of the Year and Daniel Carlson for the chip shot field goal to pay off this first drive. But you wonder what the decision process is now, having Sean White healthy, having Cam Petway healthy, and it looks like Gus Malzahn's going to go.
Hunter is in at linebacker for OU.
They do this quick huddle where they try to snap it quick sometimes and pitch it out wide.
There's the pitch. There's touchdown, Chandler Cox. Number 27, Chandler Cox. And folks, that is his first rushing touchdown of the season, I believe.
Well, a nice job getting to the line of scrimmage quickly. There were a ton of offensive linemen to the left side of the center. And they were basically able to outflank Oklahoma and get a great drive off the ball, get some movement. There's Chandler Cox, who normally plays that hybrid H-back, fullback position, normally a blocker. Nice run, pay dirt early.
Daniel Carlson. Tyler Stovall's the holder. On the first drive of the game, Auburn on the end around. It's Westbrook with that great speed, but short of the first down against a speedy Auburn defense. Trey Williams there.
But a good gain on that 2nd down, which sets up 3rd and manageable, and that's going to be key. We talked about this offense having to handle the pressure from Auburn up front. And their most dangerous players, number 55, Carl Lawson, the first-team All-American. We got pressure on the quarterback on 3rd downs. They like to move him around. They like to stand him up. Here he is right now, playing linebacker right over the ball.
There's Mayfield firing sideline, and a terrific grab by Meade on that far side, but he was out of bounds.
Yeah. Meade went up in the air to try to high point this, but while he was in midair, he got pushed by Davis out of bounds. And watch where that left foot lands. Lands right on that white line. I think that was a good call by the referees. Contested throw.
Let's see if replay takes a look at this. Yeah, it looks like, Jess, you were all over it. That toe was out of bounds. No question about it. Austin Siebert, who does everything. He's punting for OU. Roberts back deep. penalty flag on the play.
They're going to get a block in the back on Auburn here. I think it was number 26, Marshall Taylor.
During the return, illegal block in the back, return team, number 26. Half the distance to the goal, first down. Timeout.
Well, we'll take a break here for the Sugar Bowl. Auburn scored the first time they handled the ball. Can they make it 2 for 2? We're about to find out. Sugar Bowl, Auburn scored that touchdown on its first drive of the game. And after that, the two defenses have been standing tall. This is Baker Mayfield, the all Big 12 quarterback, handing off to Joe Mixon, who did not start the game. Samaje Perine, he was the running back for a couple of series, and now they're going to bring in Mixon. Second down and 8. Rolling to the left. In trouble, back in the end zone. He's hit in the end zone, and he comes free to throw it away. Baker Mayfield saved to safety.
Well, we showed you in the open the roll away by Mayfield trying to throw the backside post to Westbrook. And in coverage, they did a great job taking that away. It was a backside post curl and just too much pressure again. Jeff Holland getting in and phenomenal scrambling by Mayfield just to get rid of that football.
And for those of you that were watching this game, the Sugar Bowl on ESPN2, the game will continue on ESPN. So you want to make a little switch on your TV. If you're watching on 2, go back to ESPN now. And drops it off to Mixon. Speed down that sideline, and he is out of bounds.
Joe Mixon is one of the most versatile running backs in the entire country. He can run the ball, he can catch it, he's dangerous in the return game. I think what makes him very unique, though, is his receiving skills. He could play wide receiver, line up outside, and run the entire route tree. We've seen now a couple times on third down, they're trying to get the ball to number 25, and you can see how special he is once he has the ball in his hands.
First down and 10. They hand it his way again, and it'll be second down and 10. There's that good front of Auburn, led by Adams and Lawson. They smoked him that time.
It's really important that Oklahoma is able to establish some form of running game. They need to have balance. You take a look at the Chick-fil-A impact players in this game. This is probably one of the best tandems of running backs in the entire country. Mixon, Perine, both versatile, can run and catch the ball. But this defense for Auburn, one of the best in the nation because of Adams up front at defensive tackle, the first-team All-American Carl Lawson.
There's Perine to the 46-yard line, and Adams, who has a nose man. Look at that big number 1 down there defensively. Now, will you folks? He's from Georgia, and they say he's 309. Nonsense. That rascal was 325 or 330, Jess.
Yeah, Brent, he had a chance to go to the NFL last year, decided to come back. It was the right decision because he's taken his game to the next level. So good at the point of attack and so athletic for a guy that's 310 pounds. He was rewarded for his decision, named first-team All-SEC.
Westbrook goes to the left. That's always an alert. Mayfield, quarterback draw, first down with Adams hanging off.
That time, Kevin Steele, Auburn's defensive coordinator, brought pressure off the edge to the left side of the formation with Daniel Thomas in the nickel. Baker Mayfield saw it, and tremendous athleticism climbing up in the pocket, then actually dragging, I think it might have been Big Montravius Adams, to get this first down. Watch this. Look at number 1 get off the block. It's a 310-pound body that Baker Mayfield's dragging with him. He's only 210 pounds himself.
Ball just across midfield for a first down and 10. Westbrook will motion it. They fake it to him. And they come back with Mixon to the 30-yard line. Daniel Thomas, a freshman from Montgomery, Alabama, forced to play, made the stop, but it's a 19-yard gain. And as you can see, it's coming back.
Personal fouls, chop block. Offense, number 78 and 58. 15 yards from the previous spot. Repeat first down.
You don't want to be chopped blocked by 78, folks. That's Orlando Brown. He's about 6'9". You want to take a look at this rascal.
Yeah, so watch number 78 over here. He's the one kind of getting involved. There's going to be a chop on number 95. You see the high-low combination right there on Dontavius Russell. You can't be engaged with an offensive lineman and then have someone cut him out from underneath. It's a dangerous play. Good call by these referees.
Knew his daddy. Passed away. Played about 10 years in the NFL. Daddy was known as Zeus. You're looking at baby Zeus out there now, 78. Not quite sure who to hit on that one, was it? That'll happen to a big offensive lineman like that. We come to the end of the first quarter. We're going to play some defense in this one. Auburn with a 7-0 lead. And if you just joined us from watching that dramatic Rose Bowl, Auburn scored on the first series of this football game. Won the flip, took the football, went up 7. Where the controversy surrounding this young man in recent weeks, but back in 2014, he punched a female student back in Norman. He was suspended the following month for the entire 14 season. Oklahoma thought he might transfer. Well, the video was released in 2016. Was released by Mixon and his attorneys because they knew that the media had sued and it would eventually get out. It was troubling, very troubling to see. We've talked to the coaches, and they all swear that the young man is doing fine. Like I said, Oklahoma thought he might even transfer, but he sat out the suspension, reinstated. And folks, he is he's just one of the best. And let's hope, given a second chance by Bob Stoops and Oklahoma, let's hope that this young man makes the most of his chance and goes on to have a career in the National Football League. There's a penalty flag. Mayfield is out to the right.
Well, and certainly he's faced a lot of criticism over the last 2.5 years. Joe Mixon has. One thing he's talked a lot about here in recent weeks, though, is his teammates and this coaching staff supporting him and helping him get his focus back on the football field.
Holding. Offense number 58. 10 yards from the previous spot. Repeat second down.
That's Eric Wren, who was guilty on that play.
Yeah, Brent, right now, Oklahoma is having issues with Auburn's defensive line, both in the run game and in pass protection. The strength of this Tigers defense is up front. They are big and they are athletic and they are extremely deep. They roll 9 different bodies up front to stay fresh.
Penalty flag on the snap. Mayfield going deep, incomplete, early penalty flag.
Be on 95, Dontavius Russell.
Offside, defense, number 55. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Well, Monday, college football national championship game presented by AT&T. Rematch, Clemson and Alabama. 8 p.m. Eastern time. Last year, the Tigers hung a 40 on Alabama, but the Tide rolled for 45. It was a dandy. Rematch coming up. Second down and 30 for Mayfield and Oklahoma. Mixon is his running back. Mixon slips in. Davidson, very talented freshman from Auburn with the stop. You're going to hear his name a lot around the SEC. And, you know, Jess, one of the things that's happening in this game, this is boiling down to big boy football all of a sudden.
Yeah, it really is. And I think in these second and third and long situations now, Auburn is going back to that too high safety look, trying to give help on D.D. Westbrook because they have a lot of confidence in their front four to get pressure on Baker Mayfield without having to blitz.
And the front is giving him trouble. Mayfield with the completion in underneath to Mixon. And there is another flag.
Offside, defense number 55. 5 yards from the previous spot. Repeat third down.
That's Carl Lawson.
Yeah, I think that time, Brent, he was just lined up in the neutral zone. It wasn't that he flinched. He just wasn't being careful. You're going to see him playing an end. Way outside here, it's kind of a tough angle to see that. That hand is right there, right on the black line. It's a big mistake by that defense now, making this third down a little bit more manageable. We've seen now a lot on third down. Oklahoma, they've done this all year. They're throwing the ball to their running backs. Baker Mayfield has not had time to set up.
This time he rolls the pocket to the left, throws hard back to the right. Mixon, look out. First down at the 30-yard line. We told you what an outstanding receiver this young man is.
And a nice wrinkle, finding another creative way to get the ball to the running back on third down. There's the rollout play by Mayfield. They run the post backside with D.D. Westbrook, and Auburn's all over it. But no one covers Joe Mixon out of the backfield. Nice call by offensive coordinator Lincoln Riley.
There.
That was a quick snap that time by Oklahoma. It didn't look like Auburn was ready for it. Baker Mayfield just went really quick. Watch this. Went to hand the football off to Mixon, kind of looked around, didn't hear a whistle, so he just took off.
Smart dude.
Heads up play by the junior quarterback.
What a neat young man he is to talk to. We get a timeout here with 12:54. Oklahoma with its most serious threat of the evening, trailing the Tigers by 7. Few days, but sky is clearing here tonight. Great crowd on hand at the Superdome, and just when you convert a 3rd and 22, that kind of keeps drive going.
Yeah, I know. We can't get into this game thinking there was going to be a ton of points. It's been mostly a defensive struggle. Both teams doing a better job now on that side of the football. Key on this drive, though, that critical third down early. The offside by Carl Lawson helped keep that drive alive, and Baker Mayfield in this offense now, they're able to convert that 3rd and long. They're going to want to pay this off now.
And some trickeration on the part of both teams here so far. So stay tuned to see what they come up with next. They're going to swing this with Mixon for the first down. He was upended by Deshaun Davis, number 57.
Yeah, Deshaun Davis has been a good player this year for the Auburn defense. 5'11", 240 pounds. Tremendous instincts, a big hitter. Kind of reminds me, remember London Fletcher in the NFL? Wasn't the tallest linebacker, but extremely smart, great football IQ, always around the ball. Deshaun Davis has been that for Auburn this year.
Here's Mixon.
What a block outside by Orlando Brown, showing you why he's the Big 12 Offensive Lineman of the Year. 6'8", 340, an above-average size human being. Look at the athleticism. He gets out and pummels the Auburn cornerback.
Yeah, Baker told me there's a penalty flag on this play. Before I give you that little anecdote, listen to that.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Offense number 78. 15-yard penalty. Still first down.
That's Orlando Brown. Now, so Baker said that, and Mixon a little bit shaken up. Hey, he's coming off the sideline, so this ball's being rocked way back, and this stalls this Sooner drive. This ball is going to be brought back to the 20-yard line. But Baker said with Orlando Brown, when he gets over there, Jess, when he's rolling, he said, I can't see anything.
I don't blame him.
He's a total eclipse.
Yeah, no, that's the worst. I mean, when I played, I'm not a tall quarterback.
I said, all I could see is his butt.
We've done a good job throwing around it this year, I'd say. Good news for the Sooners.
We are on cable, aren't we?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Those people listening.
So Pirine checks in. Mixon shaken up. Big play now. Lots of things happen there. It's a first down and goal. Flowers is the fullback. Reverse. Westbrook. to the 13. Deshaun Davis again.
I think Lincoln Riley's doing a nice job finding creative ways to get their most explosive player outside. D.D. Westbrook, the football. Let's go back to this penalty. Or we're going to watch this play we just saw. Here the reverse again. This time they don't bring Westbrook in motion. They just leave him stationary outside to the right so it doesn't tip off the Auburn defense. Lincoln Riley doing a nice job kind of mixing up some of the looks. But no doubt about it, number 11, he needs as many touches as possible.
Second and goal. Great escapability. Looking in the end zone, moving a receiver. Touchdown, Mark Andrews. What a great job by Baker Mayfield. What he does best of all, buy time and waits for a receiver to clear it.
Does a great job buying time. And then he points his tight end, Mark Andrews, who is on the right boundary, back inside. That's a dangerous throw. You always hear about the cardinal sin, throwing back across your body. But when you're as accurate as Baker Mayfield is on the run, you can get away with that.
Austin Seibert ties it up. Good drive, and remember, most of all, they converted a 3rd and 22. But watch him, he looks downfield, escaping away from Adams, plenty of time in the daylight, and that's what burns defenses. That's why Baker Mayfield was a Heisman Trophy finalist. You know, Taco Bell is bringing the best of the regular season to the All-State Sugar Bowl by creating the Taco Bell student section. Boomer! They're picking up the tab now for students at the national championship game so that fans can go to the game and root on their teams. Clemson and Alabama, huh? Rematch. Tied, favored by 7. It's interesting to give you an idea of how much Clemson made an impact on the boys in the desert. About 3-4 weeks ago, those boys told me out there that it was going to be a double-digit number. Not the way Alabama didn't move the ball. So what does Coach Saban do? He dials up another offensive coordinator. Yard line, and let's check in down below with Kayla.
Well, Brent, yesterday, Oklahoma's offensive coordinator Lincoln Riley told us, you know, Baker Mayfield gets this bad rap for being all guts and no talent, when in reality, he is an elite thrower, as you saw on that last drive. Now, he says for Baker, it's all about his mentality. This is a guy who, if you look at their last 2 games of the regular season, West Virginia in a snowstorm, Oklahoma State in a downpour. A lot of guys would have trouble in those conditions, but because of his mentality, he said Baker Mayfield would be fine going out in a parking lot and playing ball. That competitive nature is what gets across to his team.
Yeah, Kaylee, he's a guy that I think always has played with a chip on his shoulder, was a walk-on at Texas Tech before transferring. People doubt him, he proves them wrong.
He's got Petway, there's a penalty flag. Petway is brought down. Hey, you know, Stephen Parker, number 10, he's been a very active safety for defensive coordinator Mike Stoops. He's been all over the field.
Well, a lot of guys lining up in the neutral zone.
31, 5 yards to the previous spot, still first down.
And these are the best pass rushers on both teams. We've seen Carl Lawson do this for Auburn, and now there's Obo Okoronkwo. That doesn't take any talent. You just got to look outside and make sure you're not offsides.
What do you say we just call him Obo the rest of
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do you a favor.
Big favor, my friend.
You got it.
First down and 5. Incomplete. The target was Stove, and it was incomplete. Now, I'm going to go back to what some of the NFL scouts say about this quarterback, White. He's a much better thrower, believe it or not, on play action.
Well, it makes sense when you think about it. What they want to do, what most quarterbacks like. When you're running the football well and you're forcing linebackers and safeties to bite and get close to the line of scrimmage, that opens up bigger windows. Auburn has to get back to having success on the ground to help out Sean White throwing.
Second down and 5. Petway breaks free for the first down. You see how hard that big rascal is The breakdown. Thomas finally did it.
He's just so good at finding the hidden yards in a game. He's the kind of guy that can move a pile and break tackles yards after contact.
Try him again.
And just like that, Brent, he always just seems to fall forward. You know, there are a lot of running backs in that scenario that try to kind of juke right or left. He just leans forward and kind of gains those extra 2 yards. Just like that at 2nd and 6.
White is upended by Caleb Kelly, that freshman from Fresno, California.
Yeah, this run defense got so much better in the second half of the season. I think a big reason why is because they started playing Caleb Kelly more. Way back at the Kansas game, he was the #7 rated outside linebacker coming out of high school, and at 220 pounds, helped set the edge for this Oklahoma defense. Now here's Auburn. They've shown this quick huddle. They're going to look to do it again.
Fake the end around. White. First down on a tough run. Fumble. Auburn recovers it. I think they're going to say he was down.
Yeah.
So he was down. No fumble on the play. Auburn football. 1st and 10. Good run.
Obo with the pressure coming off the edge here in a critical 3rd down. And Sean White, all 200 pounds. He's straining. Broke a couple tackles. Easily the left knees down, the left elbows down before that ball comes out.
So it's 1st down and 10 at the Sooner 45. Whistle prior to the snap.
Illegal substitution. 12 men on defense. 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
Auburn can do that to you.
Yeah, they go fast, and sometimes when they get 1st downs, they generate super tempo where they keep the same personnel grouping on the field and try to get up and catch you off guard. You know, one thing that Auburn hasn't done yet is dial up a deep shot down the field. There's a good area of the field here for them to maybe take a chance and see if they can find an explosive play.
Stoops clearly did not agree with that decision. There's White. Pump fake. Going up over the top.
That ball just didn't come out good for Sean White. I mean, that was a wounded duck. It looked like he had an opportunity outside with his true freshman receiver, Eli Stove, but one-on-one, it just didn't come out pretty.
You know, he's battling that shoulder problem, and after he threw a lot for a few days, they had a practice the other day in which he didn't throw the ball at all. They ran the plays, and he made the motion with the right hand, but Gus felt that they'd thrown the ball enough for the 2 or 3 previous days. So it's 2nd down and 5, but Sean White's been nursing that injury, and he clearly has been the best of the Auburn quarterbacks this year. There's that pitch now to Petway, and Petway stopped short of the 1st down, and Stephen Parker's there again. You know, Jess, if Oklahoma is able to turn Auburn into a one-dimensional team, that can make it a lot easier for them.
Yeah, no doubt about it. This is kind of a critical situation right here for Auburn. You're thinking maybe 4-down territory here, close to the 35-yard line with Cam Petway back in this offense. Take 2 cracks at it. If I'm Auburn, I'm running right downhill with big 36.
White has thrown for 35, but Petway has run for 43. 1st down.
And really no mystery here, just straight up the gut, straightforward and a simple zone play. That play right there really is the bread and butter for this Auburn offense in the run game. When they get the inside zone going, they're really tough to stop because then they can get the play action game going. They get the zone reads going with the quarterback. It gets tough.
Petway short of the 30, and for more on Petway, let's go to Kaylee.
Well, Brent, he's draft eligible, but he didn't even bother filling out the paperwork to get his draft grade. Back in November, he made it clear to everybody that he's coming back. He tweeted, "For all the Auburn fans asking, I will be back next season. I've got some unfinished business."
It becomes even more difficult, and that plays into the strength of Oklahoma. You folks who followed the Sooners, you know how many passing yards that Bob Stoops' team has given up this year.
Substitution for Oklahoma now. They take Caleb Kelly off the field. They go to a nickel look. Extra DBs in this 3rd and long scenario.
They'll try Johnson as the running back on this 3rd and 8, and timeout called by Stoops. We'll take a break. 7:26 remaining in the first half here in New Orleans. Plus, with Bourbon Street, you got to keep them active. You got to give them things to do. You got to have dance contests. You got to have bowling tournaments. You got 7 days. You don't want anybody breaking curfew in New Orleans. Why, how would that ever happen? Here we go. 7-all now. 7:26 to go.
This offense has to get wide receiver Tony Stevens going.
Incomplete. Well, one problem with that, Jess, is they're a little disappointed in Tony. He hasn't stepped it up. It's been those 2 freshmen down to stretch for him, Davis and Stowe.
Oh, and speaking about freshmen, what about the true freshman Caleb Kelly, 19 right here coming off the edge. He's having a monster first half for the Oklahoma Sooners. They're trying to set up the slow screen outside to the running back, Kerryon Johnson, but just too much speed by Kelly. We're excited about this young freshman.
So here comes the long field goal attempt by Daniel Carlson. And he's as good as they come in college football. This is a 49-yarder for the young man from Denver. His younger brother is committed to Auburn also. So here we go. He's always the favorite, folks. What a leg.
Yeah, Daniel Carlson is special, Brent. You mentioned it. SEC Special Teams Player of the Year. 8 times in his career he's hit a field goal 50 yards or longer. They call him Legatron for a reason. And he said he's going to come back next year. It's great news for Gus Malzahn and the Auburn Tigers. I mean, his football just explodes off his foot. I mean, you can hear it all the way up here.
Absolutely. Last foot I heard like that in the Sugar Bowl, a man by the name of Janikowski. First name Sebastian, Florida State. Let's go to get more on Carlson. Here's Caleb.
Well, Brent, Carlson's family on his mom's side, Alabama fans. How about that for an Auburn kid? Now his grandfather told him before they played Alabama, hey, you can kick 6, 7 field goals, but I still want Alabama to win the game.
This is that, Kayla. Yeah, you think about for Gus Malzahn in the Dome here in New Orleans. I mean, anytime they're within 38, 39, 40-yard line, I mean, you're basically in Daniel Carlson's wheelhouse. And the other part is how good he's been on touchbacks and kickoffs, like right now. 79% of his kickoffs have gone for touchbacks, second most in the nation. And when you have the defense that you have at Auburn, you force the opposing offense to have to drive the entire field to score. What a luxury that is if you're Gus Malzahn.
And if you're watching Scouts, there's also that. Well, celebrating its 12th year sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets, Allstate makes contributions to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kick. To date, Allstate has contributed millions in scholarship funds, and we certainly thank them for that. We're here at the Allstate Sugar Bowl on a Monday night. Can you believe, folks, it's 2017. Hope you had a wonderful celebration the other night. Got a chance to peek at that Clemson performance. Boy, wasn't that dandy against Ohio State? Of course, Alabama moved on by beating Washington. Joe Mixon's a running back. Breaks the daylight. No question about this young man's talent.
Well, he has a great job of setting blocks up. Watch this right here. When he gets the handoff, he's not yet running full speed. He's letting the blocks develop in front of him. Then when he sees the crease, he puts his foot in the ground and he gets north. I think so many good running backs have that ability to be patient. Certainly Mixon has that.
Swing it to him. Block on the edge, and he crosses midfield. So we get word that James Andrews, yes, that's the noted orthopedic surgeon, he's looking at Shaun White's throwing arm over there on the sideline, and Mr. Franklin is up and loosening up, and it's been a troublesome couple of months here for White with that shoulder injury. Missed the last couple of games. Actually was re-injured again in the Georgia game in which they lost. Baker Mayfield. How did he get out of that? How does Houdini do that?
Yeah, I was just going to say Houdini. It's unbelievable. It's the second time now in this first half. Jeff Holland, number 4, has been and had Baker Mayfield in his grasp. And just somehow, some way, Baker Mayfield's able to slip out and just keep playing. The thing I love about him, he plays fast, he plays with a sense of urgency, and he plays with so much confidence. He just gives this Oklahoma offense their swagger.
You were getting a little late picture of Sean White. There he is. He's going back to the locker room, folks. So it looks like we are going to see John Franklin at quarterback, snatched out of the air by Jeffrey Mead.
Well, if Sean White isn't able to return, then that completely changes the offense for the Auburn Tigers. They become much more one-dimensional as a running team. Now, the good news they get from John Franklin is a home run threat running the football. He's averaging 10 yards a carry. It'll be interesting to see how this impacts Auburn's offense.
Can't beat OU one-dimensional football. Not going to happen. Hate to say it. First down and 10. Play action, and he handed it off to him indeed, and fooled me, but not that defensive front of Auburn.
Yeah, they're just so deep up front. That time, number 95, Dontavius Russell, just defeats a double team and almost makes the play himself. And the real key, I think, all season long for this defensive line is getting number 55, Carl Lawson, back healthy and getting him on the field. Remember, 2 years ago, missed the entire season with an ACL injury. Last year, 6 games with a hip. But he's been able to stay healthy. He's been living in the opponent's backfield.
That's Baxter, number 1, motioning toward the top of your screen. Pirine needs 83 yards tonight to surpass the great Billy Sims, an all-time rushing yardage in Oklahoma. And so many good things the folks say about Pirine. What an outstanding young man he's been. And so far here tonight, I think he's been held to about 10 yards.
Well, so many times in this game on third down, they've thrown the ball to Mixon. He's not on the field right now. Now, Pirine's a good receiver in his own right. You wonder how this changes Lincoln Riley's play call.
Pirine crosses the 30-yard line. Well, I hope, you know, Coach Saban, he's a workaholic, but I hope he's able to sit back and relax and watch this game a little bit because
I'll tell you what he's doing right now. He's in a film room, and believe me, he's got his hands full watching this explosive Clemson offense and trying to help Steve Sarkisian catch up on the playbook. Wishful thinking.
Boy, that was a softball pitch for you. All right, fourth down. They're going to go for it now on 4th and 4, and they bring Mixon into the game. Rolling, throwing, Westbrook grabs it. Oh my! On 4th and 4, they strike, and it's 1st and goal. Heisman Trophy finalist to Heisman Trophy finalist.
Mayfield able to scramble away again. Nobody blocks. Russell coming off the left side just buys enough time. He had the one-on-one matchup, and what an accurate throw. How good is Mayfield throwing to his right?
Mixon, touchdown. The Sooners lead for the first time in this Sugar Bowl.
I like the job by Baker Mayfield after an explosive play on 4th down, getting his offense lined up quickly, trying to catch Auburn off guard. We're used to Auburn doing that offensively. Oklahoma giving them a little taste of their own medicine. They get lined up quick. They love this double pull concept in their run game where they bring the backside guard and tackle. That time, Samia, Bobby Evans doing a great job. Extra bodies at the point of attack. Oklahoma's offense coming alive these last 2 drives.
Siebert. 14-10. Mixon for 6. Mexico City, both those teams struggling with injured quarterbacks, so we'll see how that one unfolds. 6 straight games. Joe Mixon with a rush touchdown. Now we'll see how Auburn will attempt to solve the quarterback dilemma. From the 2, Kerryon Johnson. Kerryon stopped at the 15-yard line, and we check in with Kaylee on Shaun White. Kaylee.
Well, Brent, we know that Shaun White has been taken underneath the stadium for an X-ray on his right forearm with orthopedist Dr. Andrews right by his side.
And so we can see John Franklin, young man out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, went to East Mississippi Community College for a time, and that was better known as Last Chance U. And you folks want to get yourself a little Netflix series and enjoy watching JC football. I highly recommend it. Jess is the one that tuned me on to it.
It's must-watch TV. They're doing season 2 now.
Petway's in there with Frank. Frank was a very good runner, by the way. And you know, that might have kept him in check and opened it for Petway, because on this read option, you better keep an eye on number 5.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Brent. It changes everything now for Oklahoma's defense. They love zone read type plays now with John Franklin in the game, and because of that speed, you have to honor it outside. You've got to slow down your rush and make sure he doesn't keep the football to get outside, because he is explosive. Again, averaging 10 yards a carry, and you're right. It does open up gaps inside now for the running backs.
First down. Oh my goodness, what a hit he took from Ahmad Thomas. We've talked about Stephen Parker, the safety. Well, the other one, Thomas out of Miami, just unloaded on the diesel.
Do you remember when Steve Atwater hit Christian Okoye?
Sure do.
Is that Monday Night Football? Man, I mean, okay, I know we're in college, but whoa, you don't see that happen very often.
Drove the big fella back.
Yeah, he did.
But it's a first down and 10, and here comes the scrambler. So Mike Stoops has now got to be concerned about an entirely different looking offense.
Yeah, no doubt about it, because Franklin's dropping back to pass. He's looking for one guy to get open, and if it's not there, he's just taking off. So you see Mike Stoops there now.
Look at him. He's animated.
Yeah, he's a Stoops brother.
Oh, yeah, man. He's a Youngstown
but
dude.
He might have to think about, do you want to blitz a mobile quarterback, or you want to lay back? Do you want to start playing a spy? All different things now that he needs to consider.
Another first down. Petway's an open field.
And the linebackers just freeze for an extra split second, making sure that John Franklin actually hands this football off. And that allowed both guards that time, Alex Kozan and Braden Smith, to outflank that D-line.
They just stick it with number 36.
I wonder how comfortable Gus Malzahn is going at a very high tempo now, though, with John Franklin in the game. You may have to now slow things down a little bit to ensure the substitutions get in. John Franklin allows everyone to line up and be where they are. You can't have unnecessary penalties. It's another way that maybe this quarterback change affects this offense.
First pass of the game. How about that? Right on the money to Stowe. Oh, he throws the ball like that. Look out.
Oh, yeah, listen, velocity has never been an issue with John Franklin. He's probably up there with Jeremy Johnson as the best arm of the 3 quarterbacks, but this is nice, a nice easy completion, a curl route, and he hits Eli Stove right in the face mask. That'll help the one-time Florida State Seminole quarterback gain some confidence.
Timeout. The Sooners want to talk about it here. Minute and a half left in the first half. Backup quarterback Franklin driving them, and You know, Bob Stoops, of course, was a tremendous defensive assistant under Steve Spurrier. When you played for Steve,
he
the
was our
quarterback, he was your
coordinator.
defensive coordinator.
Yeah, my first 2 years, he was unbelievable.
Yeah. So I want to remind everybody coming after the Buick halftime of what the gang is here. Stan Verrett, he'll be the anchor down there. Mark May. Wonder if he's going to say anything about Ohio State tonight. And then there's Mac Brown, the old tech. There they are down there. Mac, he's texting somebody now, and Mark, he's looking at some stats. And there's Stan. He's got the good smile on his face, and Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Stan's from Louisiana. He's a big Louisiana guy.
Yeah, he is. Oh, yeah. He's got to be happy with Coach Joe's doing.
Look at him. He's just loving the camera.
He sees that like
those other guys are getting ready for work.
These guys are getting ready to work. Stan, that's the camera.
$1 million smile. I know. Yeah.
Stan, nice to have you with us. Great job, you guys. Fun to have you here. So we got a first down here just for Auburn. The ball has crossed the Sooners' 40-yard line. Oklahoma and Auburn each with one timeout apiece. Kerryon Johnson, the running back for the Tigers. So they've looked at the defense, changed up at the line. Franklin going to fire again, and it's snatched out of the air at the 26. Tony Stevens, holy Johnny Unitas, what's going on here?
Well, there's big Tony Stevens, the guy that was their leading receiver, and he kind of disappeared in the second half of the season, but that 6'4" frame and catch radius, reaching back and looking good.
That was a twisting gain there by Johnson.
It's a big drive, Brent, for this offense. They need to try to generate some points here at the end of the half and kind of re-see some of this momentum that Oklahoma has taken away. Remember, the Sooners are going to receive first in the second half.
Second down and 6. Firing is incomplete and went back for Stevens. So here's your third down and 6. The one thing that Franklin has to be careful of, because it's a 3-point certainty almost. 99.9 with Carl. So you don't want to give that up right there.
When you're one of those situations right here, if it's not open, either check it down, or if I'm Franklin, I'm just taking off. I'm trying to get this myself with my legs. You live and die by the blitz if you're Oklahoma. This is a dangerous situation to be in. If you want to blitz Franklin, if you miss him, he could take off here in man-to-man situation and hurt you.
Incomplete. That was Will Hastings working downfield. He was well covered that time by Will Sunderland.
But still a good drive, right?
Oh, absolutely.
You lose Sean White. No reason to panic. John Franklin kind of comes out. You run the zone read. You gash him a couple times on the ground. Threw a nice completion to Eli Stove. Help him get into a rhythm. And I think setting up Daniel Carlson for what should be an automatic field goal, that's a win if you're Auburn.
.39-yarder, 2 for 2. Got 41 seconds to go, and we want to talk about a team in the country that can move the ball against the Alabama defense. He said only one he's seen, and he said Deshaun Watson is the best player in college football. That was Gus Malzahn. So the ball's taken by Westbrook. He'll take a knee. Oklahoma with 41 seconds. That'll be a dandy. The biggest disappointment in the playoffs, of course, was the performance by Ohio State, and a great. The Big Ten did not have a good bowl season. However, listen, hats off to Penn State. I know they lost, but I'm going to tell you, they went out guns a-blazing, and they showed a lot of people that maybe when you win a conference like the Big Ten and you beat another team, maybe you should be in the play. I'm just saying maybe. I got a lot of good friends up there in Columbus. Oh, Herbie just went nuts. Oh, come on, Herbie. First down and 10 now. Mixon's a running back.
Now, I was going to say, as explosive as Oklahoma is with the receivers they have, and the quarterback they have, I think in a lot of other games, 41 seconds to go and a timeout in their back pocket, they'd be throwing and trying to at least get a field goal out of this. But I think because of how disruptive Auburn's been up front on defense. I think right now Lincoln Riley and Bob Stoops are happy just to run this clock out here at the end of the half, going at halftime with the lead.
That's what he's doing. Tiger fans are booing. OU fans are cheering. And Dobb knows that his offense will receive the second half kickoff. We got a 1-point ball game here. Favored Oklahoma 14. Auburn 13 in New Orleans. Coach Stoops is with Kaylee, so let's go to Kaylee.
Well, Coach, the combination of Baker Mayfield and D.D. Westbrook's been lethal all season. What has Auburn done to make that connection difficult today?
Well, they're covering well, and, you know, that as much as anything, and there isn't anything special that we've got to go to D.D. all the time. We've moved the ball pretty well with the other guys.
After that first drive and score by Auburn, how did your defense adjust to what they were doing?
Well, more than anything, settled down and started lining up correctly with some of their pace and some of the different alignments they gave us. We didn't handle it very well, and lately we have been.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thanks.
All right, Kaylee, thanks a lot. 1 point Sooner lead. SEC, Big 12, big boy football in New Orleans. The pitch, touchdown, Chandler Cox. Touchdown, Mark Andrews. Mixon, touchdown. The Sooners lead for the first time in this Sugar Bowl. And we welcome you back to the All-State Sugar Bowl on a New Orleans Monday night. Oklahoma and Auburn slugging it out, with the Sooners up by a point, 14-13, just as we expected.
Yeah, explosive offense from Oklahoma. A lot of playmakers all over the field, and they really kind of came alive there in the second quarter. I think the key for them was getting Joe Mixon going at running back. I thought he really made his presence felt catching the football. 3 catches, a lot of them came on third down. None were bigger than this one right here, though. This was 3rd and 22 when he snuck out of the backfield, caught the wheel route. That set up their first touchdown. He's done a nice job running the football as well. 10 carries so far for 45 yards. This score, nice patient running in the red zone. Now about Baker Mayfield. He's been running for his life. Hasn't been able to set up behind center, but he's scrambling and throwing the football so well, especially when rolling to his right. He's been able to buy himself some time, distribute the football. I think this is an offense now that has their swagger back here as we start the second half.
And, of course, you can see the passing yards for Oklahoma, 145, only 56 for Auburn. But look at the rush yard, 123 Auburn and 80 for OU. And Auburn with more first downs in this game. And they scored their touchdown on the opening drive of this football game. After that, they settled for the 2 field goals in the second quarter, and OU scored both its touchdowns in the second quarter. And Westbrook will take this out of the end zone. It'll come out on the 25-yard line. Let's check it down below with Caleb.
Well, Brent, we will not see Sean White back on the field with Auburn in this game. The injury to his right forearm is serious, Coach Malzahn says. He doesn't know for certain yet if it's broken or not, but Malzahn could confirm he will not be back in this game after that hit he took from the Oklahoma defense. They are going with John Franklin. It'll be his game to play. Malzahn said, we need to run the ball anyway. Let's go run it.
Yeah, that was that first clip you saw of him, and then you could see like a wounded duck. He threw that pass, and it's clear that there were problems. He tried to play with the injured shoulder against Georgia, we might point out. So he's a tough young'un, and Mixon will open here as the running back. Out to the 32-yard line. Holsey making the stop for Auburn.
You know, I think a big key for this Auburn defense here in the second half is they have to finish plays in Oklahoma's backfield. There have been multiple times in that first half where it appeared they had Baker Mayfield in their grasp, but weren't able to get him to the ground. They could easily have 3 sacks right now for this D-line. They're getting pressure. They've got to finish plays.
Running back Mixon. got the edge for the first down.
Lincoln Riley is setting up a shot play. We've seen a couple times in the first half. They pitch the football to the tailback, and then they throw the quick swing pass right there. Eventually here, Baker Mayfield's going to fake a pitch or fake a swing. And he's going to take a shot deep down the field. So Auburn has to be ready for that.
Perine checks in. Saw Lincoln Riley. I've got a great anecdote about Mike Leach. Lincoln was a walk-on at Texas Tech, and as this game unfolds, he's got so many great Leach stories. One of the great characters in coaching. First down and 10. Rolls to the right and throws back to the left. Snatched. And another first, and that was Jeffrey Mead. Good set of hands. Rangy fella.
He's really coming on, Brent, the second half of the season. 6'5". You mentioned the size and that catch radius. They're taking advantage of a size matchup because Mead at 6'5", working against Javaris Davis, only 5'10". I've got bad math skills. I think that's 7 inches, the height differential, and you got to take advantage of it.
Oh, flea flicker. Got a man wide open. To the 15-yard line. Mark Andrews has scored one of their 2 touchdowns.
It's a bowl game, so you always expect some trickeration. Nice job here on the flea flicker. And Mark Andrews did a really good job at tight end, kind of breaking down, making it look like he was going to stock block somebody in the secondary. And those are sometimes the hardest throws to complete for a quarterback. You've got him so wide open, you don't want to overthrow it, so you underthrow it badly. Most important thing is you come up with a completion.
33 yards. Mixon for 9 on first down. And this is a superb opening drive in the second half for Stoops and the Sooners.
And Lincoln Riley, just the entire playbook right now at his disposal. They're attacking outside on quick throws. They're running the football up the gut. Got some throwback misdirection, and then the misdirection on the flea flicker. He's got this defense completely on their heels.
Quick to Westbrook. Going corner, touchdown. OU strikes quickly with the first drive of the second half.
Well, D.D. Westbrook was not lined up where he normally does. He's normally on the right side of the offensive formation outside. This Auburn defense was told to be alert for it. That time he lined up to the left. They brought him in motion. It was a quick bubble outside. He had way too much separation with the defender, Stephen Roberts, and then a foot race. D.D. Westbrook's going to win that every time.
And Mark Andrews held the edge for him with a fine block at the goal line. Folks got a glimpse of that. Seabrook tacks on the extra point. 21-13. How they loved it. Yeah, baby, that's Sooner ball. Well, Jeff Auburn needs to respond.
The big key, I think, here for this offense now with John Franklin is not getting in obvious passing situations on third down. They're not as efficient a passing team this year when John Franklin's been in the game. They've been more explosive in the running game, but it's going to be important now that they're winning on first and second down and not forcing number 5 to have to win this game throwing the ball. See the play selection here so far. This is what they do. They're a running team, but they want to get that run game going to set up play action shots.
Franklin to Petway, no gain.
And this defense from Oklahoma is now playing the quarterback. Watch Neville Gallimore at defensive end. He's waiting for the quarterback to keep it. He's right here. He's going to loop outside, daring Franklin to run his way. It's a good adjustment by Mike Stoops, the defensive coordinator. They weren't playing the zone read that way when Sean White was in the game.
Johnson, and Franklin takes it away, really. Kind of riding with his running back, and Kelly had a terrific first half. You talked about
He's all over the place. Yeah, he's making stops in the run game. He's also done a good job creating pressure, and this is what we talked about. This is not where Auburn wants to be living here in the second half. 3rd and long scenarios with a quarterback that hasn't been overly accurate this season.
3rd down and 9. Franklin keeps it. Not going to get the first down. That was Parker, Jordan Parker.
Love the idea by Mike Stoops here. You're not going to blitz a mobile quarterback. Sit back in a big zone, drop 7 guys, keep the football in front of you, and when Franklin decides to take off, because you know he's going to do it, rally to the football and make a solid tackle. He's calling a good game. These Stoops brothers, it's their bread and butter defense. I know from first-hand experience, Bob Stoops, he was our DC back at Florida. He's one of the best.
Westbrook singles, fair catch at the 33. 21-13. Oklahoma leads Auburn in the Sugar Bowl. Auburn of the SEC, 13. Here is Joe Mixon, stopped for a yard loss.
There's another talented true freshman in Derek Brown, very athletic, 6'5", 330 pounds. They can play him inside. They can also play him at defensive end. He's going to give them a bunch of versatility in years to come. We talked about this being the strength of this defense. This D-line is going to be their strength, I think, for multiple years. Gus Malzahn and Kevin Steele have done a great job recruiting at that position.
2nd down, play action.
It's a drop by Geno Lewis, the transfer from Penn State. Now setting up 3rd and long. So a mass substitution for Auburn. They bring their best pass rusher, Carl Lawson, back on the field. Now he's been working most of this game opposite the freshman right tackle, Bobby Evans. Looks like this time they've got him up against Orlando Brown, the Big 12 Offensive Lineman of the Year. What a matchup this is.
3rd down and 11. And there's interference. Javaris Davis.
I think it was a free play anyway, Brent, because they had offsides on Marlon Davidson, so I think Mayfield knew he had a freebie, and he just decided to take a shot.
There are 2 fouls on the play, both on the defense. Offside, number 3. That penalty's declined. Pass interference. Number 13, 15 yards from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
I think he means number 31. It was Javaris Davis working over there on Jeffrey Mead. We talked about the size matchup and the advantage that he has. A lot of hand fighting, grabbing the jerseys. Just kind of runs them out of bounds. I think that's a good call.
So it's 1st down and 10 for OU.
A lot of these 1st down looks, Auburn's playing press man coverage, and they're bumping D.D. Westbrook one-on-one. I'm curious to see how much longer it'll take until Baker Mayfield takes a shot to D.D. Westbrook out there. Auburn is loading the box, trying to stop the run. They want to take away Mixon and Pirine, but that's leaving the Biletnikoff winner outside on an island. I think you have to take advantage of that down here.
Here's Pirine. Roberts makes the stop for Auburn.
Yeah, he brings a physical presence, too, to this offense. He's got great vision and has an ability to find holes and cut back. But I love this. It's running through contact. Simple inside zone play. There's the vision for the cutback. If a DB is going to tackle you, that's got to be a business decision.
Ryan again into the heart of that OU defense.
Comes into this game with 974 rushing yards. It's pretty amazing. When you consider that he hurt his leg against K-State, missed the next 3 games, and he shares carry with Joe Mixon still to have the production he's had. Remarkable.
Here comes the end around, and Westbrook looking to throw it. Pump fake. Great move. Crosses the 35-yard line. He's an entertainer.
He sure is, and Brent, red alert. He's not lined up outside to the right side of the formation. He's up in the slot again, so you got to know something's coming if you're Auburn. This time they set up the reverse pass. But how many times do you see receivers in that situation just lob it up down the field and force it? Just a heads-up play by Westbrook, and a nice job making a lot of Auburn defenders look silly. He is really good in space.
Down to the Auburn 33-yard line. D-Ryan steps to the 29.
One of the best running back tandems in all of college football, and obviously a huge luxury when you've got 2 NFL caliber guys that can spell each other, keep each other fresh. You really don't have to change the playbook calling and the play calling if you're Lincoln Riley so much, because in a lot of ways they have similar skill sets.
Play action. Mayfield looks back. Wide open, and he overthrew Smallwood. Jordan Smallwood had broken free in the end zone. Baker knows it.
Yeah, there was a coverage bust down at the bottom of the screen. That was Joshua Holsley working one-on-one with Smallwood. Look at the right side. I think the cornerback thought there was zone coverage, thought he had safety help. So he squatted. That allowed Smallwood to get behind him. And Baker Mayfield, one of the most accurate quarterbacks in college football, he doesn't miss those very often.
3rd down and 6. Drops it off. Westbrook. There's a penalty flag thrown by the line judge on the near side.
I think they're going to call this for a pick play on Oklahoma. There was blocking downfield by the tight end Mark Andrews on a pass that crossed the line of scrimmage.
One of the OU coaches had to be told to leave.
There is no foul for offensive pass interference on the previous play. The ball was caught behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, one of the coaches had gone way out. He was livid because he saw that the ball was caught.
And that was really close to being, I mean, to me, when I watched it real time, I thought that D.D. Westbrook caught that beyond the line of scrimmage. That was really close. Mark Andrews was full on engaged, blocking an Auburn defender. I mean, it is close.
To Austin. Hey, Jess, what do you think of Austin's shoes, man? Off to the right.
Right, Auburn just needs some sort of momentum. They need a swing. They needed something good to happen to help give them some confidence and reinvigorate this football team.
Off to the right. Stays at 21. Auburn started out only 1-2. Clemson, Texas A&M beat them early on, and then Brett Lashley took over as the play caller for Auburn. They defeated LSU, and that was one of the more dramatic games of the year. Great implications for both schools. Then they go 1-2 in the last 3 games as they lose to both Georgia and Alabama, and they certainly were not healthy. But here, with a great stop, Jess, trailing 21-13, they get the ball back and ready to go to work. Petway will check in.
Yeah,
the 30-yard line.
Yeah, Brent, this offensive line now for Auburn has to start taking over. They're much improved versus the first part of the season. They made a couple changes, moved Austin Golson from left tackle back to his natural position at center. Darius James moved into the left tackle spot. Robert Leffert, right tackle, started playing better. This all happened around that LSU game. They've really gelled here as the season's gone along.
Petway twisting and prevented by more than half the OU defense of getting that first down.
Oh, no doubt about it. It's important here, I think, that Auburn starts getting some more push up the middle. They've got to work some of these combo blocks on the inside zone running plays and chip up, climb into the second level to get a hat on a hat, start getting some movement, and get this zone read game going for John Franklin to take advantage of it. It's going to be the big fellas up front that need to make the difference.
Third down and 1.
Got 6 offensive linemen now in the game.
Here's a blitz. And he ran by the blitzer. Wow. Stephen Parker there.
Yeah, and normally, Brent, quarterbacks don't keep the ball on zone reads when there's a blitz coming up from the outside. And there was a little bit of an issue there with the fake handoff. Franklin almost fumbled that football. That was a big problem that Franklin had back in fall camp, running the zone reads with the execution and the ball handling. And now what do you do if you're Gus Malzahn? I think, again, with Cam Petway, this situation, you're trying to spark your offense. It's a bowl game. I don't hate it. Hand the football off to the big fella. Let him get north-south.
Here we go. 4th down. Timeout. Auburn.
And if they don't get this 4th down deep in their own end, they're now going to punt to D.D. Westbrook, who, remember, against Kansas earlier this year, took a punt back to the house. Got to get great coverage.
Yeah, you're down only 1 touchdown. What a beautiful punt. Drove Westbrook back for the fair catch at around the 15-yard line. A 51-yard punt by Phillips out of Greenwood, Mississippi. Rainy New Year here in New Orleans. You walking home, Jess, or using Uber?
I'm taking Uber.
Returns as the running back. Play action from Mayfield. They drop it off to Joe. 9-yard gain on that play for Mixon.
Tremendous coverage that time on an island by Carlton Davis on D.D. Westbrook. There was the bump and run man-to-man situation where Oklahoma wanted to take a shot on the post, and Carlton Davis was blanketed all over number 11. There was nowhere to go deep down the field. Nice job against the most dangerous receiver in college football.
Mixon tiptoes to daylight, and here he comes again. And out of bounds at the 40-yard line.
It's the patience again. The ability to set up blocks and allow the holes to create themselves before he hits full speed. I love this. Just kind of gears down. There it is, and now he's out. And he puts on the Jets. He's got that home run speed. 10 runs for 30 yards or more this year, tied for 4th most in the nation.
35 yards on that run. He's going to have a 100-yard game here. You know, Jess, apparently some people were very upset when I wished this young man well at the next level. Let me make something perfectly clear. What he did with that young lady was brutal, uncalled for. He's apologized. He was tearful. He got a second chance. He got a second chance from Bob Stoops. I happen to pull for people with second chances, okay? Let me make it absolutely clear. I hope he has a wonderful career and he teaches people with that brutal, violent video, okay? 2nd down and 9. Pirine checks in as the running back. 35. And Pirine to the 26-yard line.
What a block by the center, Eric Wren. He's working one-on-one on Montravius Adams all by himself without any help. Right here, he's going to get him walled off to the inside. Not a lot of people have been able to do this year. Just gives enough room for Pirine to get outside. What about this offensive line for Oklahoma and how much better they've gotten throughout the course of the year? They're young. We've got 3 sophomores and a freshman playing up front. Because of injuries earlier in the season, they lost their left guard, Cody Ford, to a leg injury against Ohio State. Had to shuffle the lineup the first 4 games. Last 8, same starting lineup. They've built their confidence and gel.
High snap. Mayfield in a foot race. Scoops it up, and then, I got to tell you, Jess, Baker, and he might have been shaken up on that play going down. Let's watch this. Looks like he may have a jump back up. Is he objecting to the way he was hit back there? It was a loose ball.
Well, this might be intentional grounding if he didn't get to outside of the tackle box. There wasn't a receiver within the area of where he threw this. I think this is why the Auburn Tigers fans are booing. Take a look at this again. Snap over his head. Can't really see where he throws it and whether or not there was a receiver back there in the area.
That's Lawson. Watch Lawson as he goes after him.
I guess they're saying that Mark Andrews, the tight end 81, was the guy in the vicinity. So after he gets a great block on Adams, the very next play, Eric Wren snaps the football over Mayfield's head. What a heads-up play, by the way, by Mayfield to avoid the big loss.
2nd down and 10. Mixon returns. Mixon closing in on 100 yards rushing. And he has 89 yards in pass receiving. Play action to Mixon. There is Andrews again inside the 5-yard line. Holsey bringing him down for Auburn.
Mark Andrews, 6'5", 250, fantastic athlete with speed. And down near the red zone, this is where he's done his most damage this year. Really good over the middle of the field. And the red zone offense tonight for Oklahoma has been outstanding. 3 trips, 3 touchdowns, and Auburn has the 3rd best red zone defense in the nation. Coming in, only 34% of opponents' drives were going for touchdowns.
1st down and goal for the Sooners.
D.D. Westbrook in the slot. You don't see him in there normal. This should be bells and whistles for Auburn.
Here he comes. Mixon's going to keep it on a fake reverse. Out of bounds, just short of the end zone. That was Holsey who prevented Mixon from scoring.
How many great plays has Lincoln Riley dialed up using D.D. Westbrook and moving him around in different spots? Let's double check this again, make sure he didn't get in. Right foot inbounds.
Did the football break the plane?
Take a look at this again. And did his body at any point ever touch the pylon? Still inbound. I think that's a touchdown. Ooh.
You know, Jess, we're blessed with one of the best officials that I was ever around up here in the booth, Bill Lamagnier. And I know that Bill had a quick chance to take a look at it. The Sooner fans are very, very excited as they look at this. And Bill, what's your feeling about that ball?
Replay's going to reverse this to a touchdown. He's reached in and had the ball inside the pylon before he was down. So this is a score. All you have to do is get the ball over or inside or touch the pylon, and you have a touchdown. Tough play for the official to call, but replay's going to reverse it.
Yeah, his feet were inbounds. He didn't touch the pylon with his right hand, which would have put him out of bounds.
That would have put him out, correct.
I told you Lamagnier hadn't lost his fastball.
No, right down the pipe, too.
Let's see what replay does first.
It's nice having an extra set of eyes up here, isn't it?
Up here, huh?
Hey, and I don't want to blow smoke, but these officials have been on top of this game start to finish so far. I don't want to jinx them, but they've had an excellent game. The calls have been solid, and I think the replay team's going to do a great job on this one.
Well, this is a good Big Ten crew.
Yes, it is.
Referee O'Neill and this gang, they do a good job.
I had an opportunity to work with several of these people that are on my crew over the last few years, and it's really a solid group of guys.
Ball carrier was able to get the ball inside the pylon, which results in a touchdown.
Nolan Ryan right down the pipe.
Lamagnier brings the heat, baby. That is Mixon's second touchdown of this game. Tacking on the extra point.
It's really interesting to watch this last touchdown play with all the different bells and whistles kind of going on in the misdirection. Baker Mayfield was kind of in a shotgun. Instead of kind of walking towards the line of scrimmage like he was maybe going to change the play. Look at this again. Under center, starts kind of walking out. Then all of a sudden there's the direct snap to Mixon, trying to catch him off guard. They've got D.D. Westbrook lined up in the slot. They've shown a couple reverses, a couple jet sweeps, a reverse pass. Everybody on defense runs with number 11. That's us up. Samaje Perine. Outside one-on-one, who's closing in. Sorry, Mixon outside one-on-one. With that kind of athlete in space, it's tough for any defense.
Mixon is closing in on a 200-yard game here, receiving and running.
Yeah, total yards, absolutely.
Just so you know about the young man.
Well, consider this Oklahoma offense, they have 413 yards already, and you're right, he's really been the catalyst. They've done a good job finding ways to get him touches, get him involved.
Caught on the 1-yard line by Truitt. Truitt short of the 20-yard line. And now just Auburn, having lost its starting quarterback. And uphill battle here.
It's 15 points. It's not yet panic mode. After Gus Malzahn and Auburn, you don't have to start throwing the football every play, but you absolutely need to start gashing this defense, running it on the ground. I think you have to give Oklahoma and their front seven a lot of credit, because we talked about how their toughness was going to be challenged. They've held up pretty good.
Now they bring Truitt. And it'll be second down.
Yeah, Auburn needs to get movement on the defensive ends for Oklahoma. They've got really good athletes in DJ Ward and Austin Roberts, but they're only 265, 275-pound players that in the past have gotten moved. I think that's where Auburn needs to be attacking there on the edge.
Incomplete, and it's third down. Kyle Davis working deep, number 86.
Very important here in this situation, anticipating that Franklin may scramble if nothing's open right away. As a defense, you have to maintain lane integrity in your pass rush. You cannot get out of a gap, because if you give number 5 one split second, he is gone. And not just maybe go get the first down gone, he can take it to the house.
Now it's third down. Drops it off, and it'll be fourth down and 6.
They're going to get a hold on the guard, Alex Kozan. He was pulling all the way across the formation, and Obo Okoronkwo was just too fast in. Kind of grabbed him, looked by around the neck, and dragged him to the floor.
Offense number 63. That penalty's declined. Fourth down.
Let's go back and take a closer look here at Franklin. Under pressure.
Just 2 plays ago when he missed a post, and right after he threw it, kind of grabs the right throwing hand. It's kind of hard to tell if an injury could have occurred. Obviously, he wasn't touched on that play.
Westbrook is back deep to return this punt for OU. Fair catch at about the 27-yard line. There is obviously a third quarterback over there for Auburn. As you see, Franklin's going in and receiving medical attention. Jeremy Johnson is over there. And Kaylee, what are you hearing about Franklin?
Well, Brent, before that last drive, Franklin was getting his right forearm massaged out by an athletic trainer. When I asked what was going on, they said, oh, he just needed to stretch it out. But there's definitely concern for what he's feeling in that right arm.
Yeah, how about the irony in all this, guys? Because we came into this saying how much more confident they were with getting healthy at quarterback and running back and how it gave this offense confidence. Starting quarterback now out, and Sean White. Looks like Franklin's favoring that throwing hand as well. And this is kind of back to where they left off at the end of the regular season on offense.
Samaje Perine has rushed for 46 yards. Remember, he needs 83 to pass Billy Sims. You know, the one thing I was going to tell a little anecdote about Baker Mayfield. We got distracted. I just said to him, Baker, Mom and Dad, why did they call you Baker? I said, he said, well, my dad had a good buddy by the name of Baker Montgomery, and my mom loved the name. And when she told Dad when she was pregnant with me that she was going to name me Baker, he said, no, we don't. And then he said, I'll tell you what. Be Baker if the middle name is Reagan after the president. So here's Baker. In a foot race now. Stands his ground, throws a first down to Geno Lewis. He is amazing on the move, always looking to throw the ball.
Unbelievable, and Auburn generally doesn't have issues with these types of players. But he's just been remarkable. He's just been buying time over and over. Look at this. It's a good job by the offensive line, giving him a place to step up. They think the play's over. He reverses field, keeps his wits about him, gets his feet underneath him. It's an accurate throw, and Baker Mayfield is on fire right now. There was a penalty late in that play.
It was over. Unsportsmanlike conduct. Offense, number 5.
That's Geno.
15 yards from the end of the run. The line of the game has been achieved. It's first down.
Yeah, Brent, I think he spun the ball on the turf after he made that catch. It was taunting, and it's not going to make Bob Stoops too happy. I'll tell you, I mean, this is where the game might blow wide open here. If Oklahoma can march down the field and score a touchdown. We talked about the issues Auburn's having on offense. I mean, this thing could be close to over. Makes a big catch on a scramble play. Auburn's frustrated. Yeah.
It spins well on this.
He does. Yeah, this new turf here in the Superdome.
Steady diet of Perine, and I talked to another coach in the Big 12 about Mayfield. And I said, he said, Brent, he just never gives up on a play, and he escapes, and you can't stick with his wide receivers long enough to cover them.
Well, they work the scramble drill so much in practice, something I think they're very, very good at, because they know Baker Mayfield, when things aren't open, he's going to scramble to throw, not run. And these wide receivers and their quarterback, they've been on the same page really ever since they started playing Big 12 conference play back in early October against TCU. Boy, oh boy, they've been good.
Into the third quarter, 28-13. Auburn's only touchdown came on the first drive of this football game. After that, the Sooners took control. Midfield breaks free. There's a penalty flag.
I think they may say late hit here. Interesting to see where Geno Lewis, where his feet were. His contact was made by Trey Matthews.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense, 15 yards from the end of the run, automatic first down.
And that was really close. Geno Lewis is kind of tight-roping the left sidelines. Watch where his feet are here. Still in bounds. He's technically out of bounds right there. And I don't really fault Trey Matthews for that. That's a hard one to pull up on because it wasn't so obvious. And I think Trey Matthews was trying to ensure the receiver's out of bounds. Well, that adds insult to injury here on this drive. Oklahoma on the doorstep here of blowing this game wide open.
There is big number 78, that left tackle. Matthews receiving some medical attention. Orlando Brown. Double team, they come that direction. Baker breaks free for a first down across the 15-yard line. This offensive line just Bobby Evans, Drew Samia, Eric Wren, Ben Powers, and Big Orlando Brown have taken charge.
Yeah, against easily the best D-line they've seen all season. And that's the impressive part to me. And good news for Sooners fans, 4 of these guys are coming back next year, including Orlando Brown, who had an opportunity as a redshirt sophomore to enter the draft. Probably would still get drafted very high. He's going to come back and play his junior year. Great news for an offense. It's going to get Baker Mayfield back, too.
There's that total eclipse at left tackle, and Mixon was stopped after a short game. Trey Williams, linebacker, making the stop.
Got to force a field goal attempt here if you're Auburn. Cannot allow a touchdown. Again, this has been one of the best red zone defenses all season long, but when they've been inside their own 20-yard line, 4 drives, 4 touchdowns allowed. Auburn has not seen this kind of offensive efficiency in this area of the field. They need Carl Lawson, Montravius Adams, and their playmakers here to step up and make something happen.
Second down and 9. Mayfield again. Little was wide open. First down and goal, Oklahoma.
Well, they've run the swing pass to Joe Mixon so much that it's completely affecting the defense. So they're going to run Mixon out this way. Watch the flow over top by Auburn defensively, and that clears out the hole in the middle of the field. So a nice job by Lincoln Riley, the offensive coordinator, setting these QB draws up late. Now they're going to go to the Wildcats. Samaje Perine inside the 5-yard line. He's earned a living this season in these types of situations.
Mayfield is split out to the right. Perine. Touchdown, Oklahoma. There is Bob Stoops and Lincoln Riley making sure that Perine gets a touchdown in this game here tonight.
Give Carson Meyer and Dimitri Flowers a lot of credit because they paved that way for Perine on the outside. They get some great down blocking by the offensive line. In that Wildcat package, 2 fullbacks, just too physical.
Seibert. I think I may have called him Seibert. I apologize earlier in the game.
Yeah, his mom texted me. I mean,
did she let you know?
Yeah, get that right. It's 2017, partner.
You guys get a lot of information from me on that Twitter thing. You know what I'm saying? Okay. 35-13. Quick to Westbrook. Going corner, touchdown. OU strikes quickly. Mixon, touchdown. Hey, we welcome you back to the All-State Sugar Bowl. What a fine evening here in New Orleans, especially for Oklahoma fans. And let me give you fans back home, you OU fans, another piece of good news. Buddy Hield, who plays across the street for the New Orleans Pelicans, he's averaged only 8.6 a game tonight. He hit Cleveland and LeBron James for 20 points up in Cleveland. Now the Pelicans lost. And here's Johnson for Auburn. Out to the 20-yard line, and another reminder, NFL playoffs start with wild card game, 4:20 p.m. The Oakland Raiders, who unfortunately lost Derek Carr, visit the Houston Texans. The Texans are favored in this one, but they too have a quarterback issue, and maybe Brock Osweiler will get a second chance with head coach Tom O'Brien. We'll see about that. First down and 10. And now Jeremy Johnson, the big fella, has taken over as the quarterback. Beautiful throw on first down.
Well, in a situation now, down 3 possessions, when it looks like you have to throw the ball to get back in the game, now you make the move to Jeremy Johnson. He's a better thrower than John Franklin, and he has tremendous arm talent. He can make the wild throw, as you just saw right there.
It's interesting, they had been 3 and out on their 3 previous drives here in this half, and now they bring Stove around in for about a yard, and they want a penalty over there. I don't see a flag, and we'll check in with Kaylee.
Well, Brent, Jeremy Franklin spent the duration of that last OU possession getting his right arm massaged by athletic trainers, talking about cramping up. They were pumping him with electrolytes. He tried as much as he could to continue to work it out, but you see Johnson in the game, Franklin with his helmet on the sidelines.
Johnson takes off on 2nd and 8. You know, Jeremy Johnson was an outstanding high school basketball player. And just when we first saw him as a quarterback, Nick Marshall had been suspended for a half.
Against Arkansas.
And we went in and we came away saying, this guy is a can't-miss prospect.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I think because of him that year, 2 years ago, this team was picked to win the SEC. Just too many bad interceptions. Just seemed like he never was able to live up to his natural talent and capabilities. Seeing if he can pull something out of the hat here late in this game.
It's great to see a youngster like this, though. You know, he still continued to hold his head high, went to class, continued to study.
And help the other quarterbacks, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know, he lost the job, had a chance to compete for it this past offseason. He's a guy you root for. And I'll tell you what, at 6'5", 235 pounds, with his athleticism, he provides explosive play opportunity to this offense that they need desperately right now.
2nd down and 5. Here's Petway. I don't know if he was able to get it. It looks like he's going to get the spot. Well, Johnson has definitely given the Auburn offense a lift here.
I like the idea. I think you can attack them conventionally running the football with Petway and with Stanton Truitt and Eli Stove on jet sweeps, and then feel a lot better throwing the football from the pocket here and see if you can find a one-on-one matchup outside to win. But they haven't taken any shots deep down the field. They've got to try at least one.
Sideline throw, and that is short of the first down. Tony Stevens.
And that was awesome by Jeremy Johnson, because that time he saw the corner blitz coming off the edge. And a good example of a quarterback that probably thought he wasn't going to play. Sees this off the edge. He knows right where his answer is. He's got Tony Stevens out there breaking down for him. Good looking drive here by Johnson.
Steps up, fires deep, jump ball incomplete. Stevens again. Jordan. And it was defended by Thomas Jordan. Thomas, the corner.
Yeah, he's got a lot of ability, Brent. Jordan Thomas does. He's big at 6 feet tall. He can run. He's got ball skills. You can see right here he can high point the football. He's just been too inconsistent this season. Sometimes got lazy with his eyes, was peeking in the backfield, and receivers ran by him for big plays. He's already said he's going to come back and play his senior year. I think that's the right decision, because if he shows more consistency, I think he's a first-round pick.
It's a 4-down scoreboard. 35-13, 10 to go. And they're going to need it, it looks like. That was Emmanuel Beal from Reynoldsburg, Ohio. You know, the Stoops brothers, being from Youngstown, they jump up in there into Ohio. So does brother Mark, who coaches Kentucky.
This defense for Oklahoma, they just seem chippy and they seem motivated. They were supposed to get bullied. Everyone in this game talked about big boy football in Auburn running it down their throats. I think they took that as a personal challenge. They're playing very physical up front tonight.
35-13. Johnson in for the 4th down, not Petway. And there's the Wildcat to the 30-yard line, and a penalty flag afterwards.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 92. 15 yards from the end of the run, automatic first down.
Matt Romar, one of the nose men. He and Jordan Wade hold down the fort. Hard to move those rascals.
Take a look at Romar here, number 92. Yeah, he gets that left hand up, right on the face mask of Kerryon Johnson. Good call. Tell you, when they needed a drive, they've now gotten it. And you're right, Brent. Jeremy Johnson has sparked this offense. Here they are down in the red zone. Haven't been there since the first drive of the game.
Down on the 15-yard line. Back to the 19. Obo coming up with that great play back there.
He's having 2 stellar games here late this season. Talked about how good he was against Oklahoma State tonight. He's affected these quarterbacks with his pass rush and now making plays behind the line of scrimmage.
Wade is in as the nose man on this 2nd down and 12. Johnson, end zone, intercepted, picked off by Jordan Thomas, Jesse, who you just talked about.
Yeah, there's the ball skills I'm talking about that you just can't coach. He does a great job following the receiver up the boundary, then turns around and gets his eyes located on Jeremy Johnson. Step number 1. Step number 2 is making a terrifically difficult catch up in the air. What else can you say about this Oklahoma Sooner defense here tonight?
Dominating.
Conference pick, and he shows you why here. Jordan Thomas, they were trying to work a double move against him with Tony Stevens. Did a great job staying home, picking that off. This defense, from the way they've stopped the run, the way they've gotten pressure on Auburn's quarterbacks, all 3 of them tonight, the way they played on the back end, you can't ask for anything more.
P. Ryan is 30 yards short of Billy Sims' record. They're aware, and he's in now. He's got 53 yards, came into the game to pass the great Billy Sims. Man, one of the best I was ever around. 1st down and 10. Here it comes. Break it big one. He gave up some. That was Holland making a play. Good play there for the defense for Auburn, you know. It's tough just when the offense just can't respond to these touchdowns. You know, after that opening drive, Auburn's had to settle for 2 field goals.
Right now, Oklahoma's completely changed their tempo on offense. Remember, they're an offense that likes to go fast early in games, but now they've got this 3-possession lead, so they're taking their foot off the gas. Look at Baker Mayfield. He's calm. He's got everybody lined up. They're going to bleed this play clock down inside 5 seconds.
Mayfield. He'll be back next year in Norman. Westbrook, of course, will be moving on. Give me your read, Jess, from your experience in the NFL about number 11 at the next level.
Well, I really like him. Now, he doesn't have ideal size to be an outside wide receiver at 6 feet, 175 pounds. The cornerbacks in the NFL are extremely physical. But with his athleticism and quickness, I could easily see him moving in the slot, a lot similar to what Sterling Shepard did this year for the New York Giants. He was the go-to guy in Oklahoma, obviously, last year. And with Westbrook's ability, especially in the return game, he provides so much value to somebody who's going to be lucky enough to draft him.
And on the other side, I don't want to overlook Carl Lawson, big number 55. Will be leaving, I'm sure. And there is Westbrook on cue making that. Davis with the stop. And he's so many creative things that you can do with him. He can also be a return man.
No, absolutely. That's what I talk about with that value and what he gives you. But he's got speed and he's got quickness and suddenness that you simply can't coach. Carl Lawson, a great season, finally healthy this year too. Yeah. And with his suddenness and his pass rushing ability, these are 2 players here that going to make some team on Sundays very, very happy next year.
When you were a youngin', when you were just growing up, they used to have huge, massive defensive ends in the NFL. Now I see so many speed rushers like Lawson with that great first step. Here's P. Ryan now. Yeah, there's some good-looking football players on this field here today, I'm telling you. Jeffs, even though they lost, congratulations to both teams in the Rose Bowl. USC, Clay Helton, they hung in. They were behind a couple of touchdowns when I looked over at the monitor.
Probably the bowl game of the bowl season, right?
There's no question.
That was awesome.
And then the field goal win for the Trojans. But also congratulations to Penn State.
Yeah.
Did a great job out there. Their first 2 passes were interceptions. 2nd down and 6. Now he's starting to close in on it.
More of that misdirection with the double pullers. That time it was the left guard and the fullback Dimitri Flowers paving the way, and Auburn just crashing in too close. Great blocking outside there by D.D. Westbrook as well on the perimeter. If you're ever going to have success running outside, you got to have receivers doing their jobs. And oftentimes, you know, receivers love to be prima donnas. They like to only catch the football and score touchdowns. Not D.D. Westbrook. He's a total player. total package.
"71 yards, 15 carries for Pirine. We're going to give him steady diet. Steps to the outside. First down to the 30-yard line. And Pirine is going to get that record. There it is. Passes the great Billy Sims. And yes, I was told by Oklahoma this particular record does include the bowl yardage that Billy gained. And so there you are. The crowd is being notified now. Very popular guy with his teammates. In fact, one thing that we see about this Oklahoma team, they are very together. You can see them practice. You can see when they came on the field in the pregame. These guys like each other.
Took a lot of pride in it, too, trying to get him that record here tonight. That was important to this offensive line, this coaching staff, and obviously to Samaje Perine.
This will make Stoopsy 7-4 against the SEC. Remember 3 years ago, 45-31 over Alabama.
Well, they're now 6-2 if they win this game in Sugar Bowl. This is a place that they love to come and play. Been here more than any other team, currently not in the SEC.
Do I hear some of the OU fans mocking our conference? Jesse, can you tell them they can't do that? That's the SEC. Come on, ladies and gentlemen.
Your way from AT&T.
Welcome back to the All-State Sugar Bowl. There's a coach in waiting on that Oklahoma sideline. Lincoln Riley, the offensive coordinator, someday will get a head coaching job. He's a walk-on at Texas Tech. My buddy Mike Leach said to him, you're not going to play. You just come and study how we coach. You stand on that sideline, help me out. And lo and behold, at the age of 25, after Mike was dismissed by the Red Raiders, it was Lincoln Riley calling plays, all right, for the first time ever. And the Red Raiders beat Michigan State. And here he is. And Jess, I know you think the world of him.
Yeah, I think he's a fantastic young mind. And I think that's one reason, too, why Bob Stoops has been here 18 years. 18 years he's been the head coach. Yeah. I mean, in a time in college football where you have to win now, the pressure. But it's not just about recruiting good players. It's about hiring the right people on your staff.
Right.
And a couple of years ago, he made the decision. He wanted to make a change on offense. Found a great young mind in Lincoln Riley from East Carolina.
Had the same athletic director, the same president, President Bourne, athletic director Joe Castiglione.
But think about this. And you know what? When you have that sort of consistency, if you're Bob Stoops and your president backs you and the AD backs you, and you have that kind of longevity, things pay off long term. They kind of see the goal, you stay the course. He's won 10 Big 12 championships.
That's more than?
That's more than as many home losses he has. He's 101-9 at home. He's got more conference championships. The next closest program during his time as the head coach at Oklahoma has 2. That's how dominant Bob Stoops has been throughout his career. It's unbelievable.
Pirine checks back in, number 32. He'll move to the right side. Down at the 40. Let's go down below to Kaylee.
Well, Brent, Oklahoma didn't look to their opponent for bulletin board material for this game. They looked to the media. These players on Oklahoma's team will tell you they've heard the media talk about how the Big 12 is not a physical conference. Dimitri Flowers says they take that personally. Every time somebody talks bad about you, be it in football or life, you're going to take it personally. And as soon as this team found out they were coming to the Sugar Bowl, Bob Stoops pulled up clips from the 2013 Sugar Bowl to remind this team how important this game is and what kind of statements can be made when you play a team in the SEC.
Yeah, and Kaylee, I mean, Oklahoma came in here and they bullied the bully. I mean, they were supposed to get the football run all over them. They weren't supposed to be able to run the football against one of the best run defenses in the country, and they were able to do both of those things. Give Bob Stoops and his coaching staff a ton of credit. Great job motivating this squad. I'll tell you, coming up next year, they're going to be looking at their 11th conference championship and maybe a trip back to the playoff when you consider what they have coming back. Nothing more important than getting Baker Mayfield back, but Pirine and Mixon have decisions to make at running back. They've got a lot of linemen coming back. Defense needs to be more consistent throughout the course of the year, but they're going to be loaded with talent.
So they will punt it away here. In complete control. Roberts is back deep. Takes a roll and he seals him up inside the 10-yard line. We'll take a break. 2:30 to go. 35-13. The Big 12 headed for a big win. Performance. Baker Mayfield, 19 of 28. 296 yards, Jess, and a pair of touchdowns.
And he's simply having one of the most efficient seasons we've ever seen in college football and putting all of his skill sets on display. He's been accurate, throwing to all three levels of the field. I thought it was really special, scrambling, extending plays, and throwing on the run. He's made some plays here in the fourth quarter, running the football too. What I think makes him so special, he's just a natural passer of the football. You know, there's a lot of guys out there that have really strong arms. They're good throwers. They can throw through a wall. All Baker Mayfield does is throw completions. It just makes it look so effortless.
Jess, Auburn's longest gain tonight is only 16 yards. And that came back in the first half by Petway. That's Johnson, the receiver. So Johnson to Johnson.
Going back to Mayfield, just the accuracy, all three levels of the field, especially throwing the ball deep. He can throw from all different types of body angles and arm slots. He's good in bad weather. Sooners fans will remember him in a snowstorm against West Virginia, rainstorm against Oklahoma State. Didn't affect him.
Kaylee?
Well, Brent, back in 2013 when Oklahoma won that Sugar Bowl with Trevor Knight, who's sitting there talking to Baker Mayfield right now. Baker Mayfield was watching that game from San Antonio with friends. He had just left Texas Tech. Nobody at Oklahoma knew he was coming yet. He didn't have the scholarship offer. He watched that game as a fan, saw Trevor Knight do what he did, and still wanted to be a Sooner and compete for that job.
And compete he did. And back he will come next year as one of the Heisman Trophy favorites. And I guess it was not whistled down. It looked like he was down, but kept on running, and that's a powerful run by Kerryon Johnson. And a reminder to stay tuned for the Ford post-game show after the game. Here we go. It's Gatorade time. Look out, Stoops.
Look at Joe Mixon there. He kind of wants to get involved real quick.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, so you got to get behind the red shirts. The freshmen, they kind of block for you.
Johnson going deep for the home run. And there is their longest play of the game. Slayton, the receiver, as Johnson cranks it up.
Well, I feel good for Jeremy Johnson. Obviously, we've documented it. His career in college has been a little bit up and down. What a throw potentially to end your college career on.
Watch this, Bobby. Oh, how can you do that 51 yards? And then, oh my goodness, I get drowned on top of it.
Still upset that they caught the post on defense. It's a defensive. Normally you turn around and help the guy.
He does not want to give up this touchdown. Kerryon bangs off his own lineman and is down on that play. That was Robert Leff. Number 70, Leff, Smith, Golson, Kozan, James.
It's just fun when you watch teams throughout the course of a season. In college football, they get better or they get worse. Very rarely do they stay the same. Completely different team than the ones that lost to Houston and Ohio State earlier in the year.
Second down and 11. And whistled down.
Prior to the snap, charge timeout, Oklahoma.
So Oklahoma calls a timeout. And Jess, that's going to give me a little time to ask you again about the game on Monday night. I want to remind everybody, January 9th, Monday, you get to the wild card weekend in the NFL, and then look at Stoopsy giving it to him down there, and we're going to have the Clemson, Alabama, and folks weren't with us early in the first half. You give Clemson a good chance to win this game.
Big news today in college football. Lane Kiffin's not going to be calling plays for Alabama as their offensive coordinator. It's going to be Steve Sarkisian, and I think that's an advantage for Clemson. I think Steve Sarkisian's an outstanding offensive mind. Certainly familiar with the playbook and the players that they have on offense, but Lane Kiffin, play callers have a rhythm and an ebb and a flow. Lane Kiffin, I thought, was so good over the last 3 years. Just because you're calling plays from the same playbook with the same players doesn't necessarily guarantee the same success.
You don't mind if I beg to differ?
No. That's why you're here.
Did you see any kind of a rhythm?
Well, that last game, no, but over the last 3 years, and what Lane Kiffin's done as a quarterback whisperer with a brand new starting quarterback each year to the playoffs. He's got a week. He's got a week to get ready for one of the best defenses in all of college football.
He gave Sarkisian a second chance, a lifeline.
He did.
You know who he had to talk to? A fellow by the name of Pete Carroll. Johnson on the move. Incomplete. Let me tell you, I was around USC a lot.
Yep.
Sarkisian and Lane.
Yep.
Let me tell you right now, Sarkisian knew more about that offense when he was at USC.
But he had an entire offseason, not 9 days to get ready for Clemson and get ready for Nick Saban in your ear and your headset.
But listen, I love Lane, but he's got another job. He needs to move on to do that. And they need a full-time assistant to call play. You and I disagree with it. First time we've disagreed.
I think it was the right move by Saban.
Here we go. Back now to get this tucked high and incomplete. The Stove is the intended receiver. Man, I can't believe you disagree with it.
Well, for Auburn, you know, they're going to spin ahead and look towards 2017. Gus Malzahn told us yesterday he thinks next year could be the most talented team he's had since he's been there. Jarrett Stidham, transfer from Baylor.
Yes.
He's coming in to compete for the quarterback spot, and he's a pretty talented guy. That'll be interesting to watch, but you get out a different dimension of this offense.
So here's your last down for Auburn. Last chance. No, check it. That's a 1st and goal with Craig Myers. He's missing in action this year. One of the most ballyhooed recruits. And Gus wants to get the touchdown. And the crowd at Oklahoma is going to boo him. But I understand this.
Yeah, I do
too. To get a touchdown.
You know, we're talking about their team next year at Auburn. And whoever wins that quarterback derby, whether it's Sean White, whether it's Jarrett Stidham, John Franklin, whoever it is, they're getting the keys to a pretty shiny car when you consider Kerryon Johnson, Cam Petway coming back at running back, and you just mentioned Nate Craig Myers. They've got 4 really good young freshman wide receivers. They're going to have a lot of skill on offense, and that defense under what will be second-year defensive coordinator Kevin Steele should continue playing at a high level. It'll be interesting to see. I'll tell you this, I know this. The Auburn Tigers will not be picked to finish 6th in their division like they were this year.
Here is Stidham now. He was at Baylor, and he played 10 games left after the Art Briles situation developed. And was something about Stidham. Just listen to this. Against Kansas State, Oklahoma, and Oklahoma State, he was 51 of 81. This is different than this. You're looking at some other stats up there. 51 of 81 in 3 consecutive games for 934 yards, 6 touchdowns. He was at practice last week in Auburn, and what we told by the coaches, a lot of the receivers hung around. They like running patterns with him. So here we go. Wildcat. Johnson keeps it straight ahead. Stopped by the middle of that defense. Mano, mano.
Wow.
Trying to get a timeout with 2 seconds.
Whoa. Gus Malzahn and Rhett Lashley are not going to go away quietly in the night, to the chagrin of Oklahoma fans. Well, and give Oklahoma defensively a lot of credit because they're not quitting. They've got a lot of backups out there in the front 7 on the field. They're still fighting hard. This is a defense, last half of the season, gained so much more confidence. Played their best football during the toughest stretch when they played against Baylor, West Virginia, and Oklahoma State. Kind of putting a punctuation mark here at the end of the season. Bob Stoops wants this too. He's getting his guys hyped up. Get this stop.
Oh, yes, indeed. Stoops. Going to go back to the Wildcat with Johnson again. Blitz from the edge. Jump pass! Touchdown! Jalen Harris, sophomore from Montgomery. So they score on their first drive of the game and their last play of the game, touchdowns. Game is over without an extra point.
That's a good game, man. You got a good man.
Very friendly handshake out there. Yeah, I think Stoops was okay with it. Why not? Let your kids try to get a touchdown. at the end of the game. None of the funny math was affected by that touchdown, folks, just so everybody knows. And Coach Stoops is with Kaylee, so let's go down below.
Coach, the Sugar Bowl has been good to you. How do you describe the significance of this one?
Just really special. I'm proud of my players. They did an awesome job really leading up to this. Worked hard and we're ready for the game. Assistant coaches did a great job, so it's pleasing. And Auburn's a good team. Compliments to them for a really good year.
After that 1-2 start, what led this team to reeling off 10 straight wins after that?
You know, we kept our confidence. You know, when everyone doubts you, we kept believing in our system, what we do, kept our confidence and kept positive. And we worked and improved every week. And here we are. So proud of our guys.
You've known some good offenses. Where does this one rank among them?
It's right up there with some of the great ones we've had. We've been fortunate to have a few good years where we've really had some special players, and this guy's as special as they come right here. Love it, Baker. Good job, Baker.
Thank you, Coach. Baker, you have put together one of the most efficient seasons in the history of college football. How do you explain what led you to do that?
Got great coaches, great players surrounding me. They make my job easy. You know, I just come out here and all I have to do is do my job, and the rest is history. And you know, they do it well for me.
The last time OU won the Sugar Bowl, you were watching as a fan, and you came here inviting the competition. How do you describe what this means to you to be able to now celebrate a win of your own in the Sugar Bowl?
You know, it feels great. It's not even settled in yet, but it's so much fun to be here. I mean, the way we started really makes this whole season so sweet. You know, we worked hard, and then it'll settle in here in a second that we just won the Sugar Bowl. But it's been a lot of work, and you know, I'm really thankful for the teammates that are around me and my coaches, but you know, just really happy right now.
After that 1-2 start, how do you explain what led you all to 10 straight wins after it?
You know, we had a players-only meeting after the Ohio State game. Said that we weren't going to let the season slip away. Just made a lot of promises to each other, to our fans and the coaches, that we weren't going to let up. We weren't going to ever quit on them. And so, you know, ever since then, it's been 1 week at a time, and we've taken care of business.
Congratulations to you, Baker. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So there you have it. Oklahoma, champions of the Big 12, 35. Auburn of the SEC, 19. So congratulations to the Sooners and all of their wonderful fans. The All-State Sugar Bowl champions. Stay tuned now for the Ford postgame show. We'll have all the festivities right after these messages.
The Ford postgame is brought to you by Ford. We go further so you can.
19. So Oklahoma closes out the season with a rush. And now they will pick up the hardware. I'm sure they will also have the most valuable player of the game. We'll be back. But right now, let's go to Stan Verrett.
All right, thanks, Brent. And thank you to all of you for attending the 2017 All-State Sugar Bowl Classic. The champions this year, the Oklahoma Sooners. Before we go any further, I'd like to introduce Chuck LaPierre, the All-State Sugar Bowl president. Chuck?
On behalf of the Sugar Bowl, I'd like to congratulate the Oklahoma Sooners and Coach Bob Stoops as champions of the 83rd All-State Sugar Bowl.
All right, also with us, Tom Wilson, the chairman and chief executive officer of Allstate.
Coach, leadership, whether it's on the football field or in life, is about getting people to do things that they wouldn't do without you in your leadership. And you showed tonight, America, that you can take a diverse set of people, different talents, different beliefs, different backgrounds, and bring them together as a force for success. So congratulations to your Sooners on a great Sugar Bowl victory.
All right. All right, I'm caught up in the celebration here, Coach. Congratulations. You guys had that 1-2 start to the season, but these kids were in their season, won the Big 12 title, come here after a Sugar Bowl title. What was the key to that resiliency?
You know, the players kept positive, kept our confidence as a team. trusted our system and we just kept building and getting better and improving as we went through the year.
And now you hear so much about bowl carryover into the next season. What does a win like this and that win streak at the end of the season do for you as your program moves forward?
Well, I don't think there's any question. This gives us great positive momentum and energy going into the offseason and recruiting, finishing off recruiting. We already got a great class going, so there's a lot of positive momentum.
All right, congratulations, Coach Bob Stoops and the Oklahoma Sooners. All right, and now we also have to recognize the most outstanding player. And the most outstanding player, Oklahoma quarterback, Baker Mayfield. So, Baker, we've seen this throughout the season, you guys getting it done through the air. Another great show that you and D.D. Westbrook and your receivers put on tonight. What was the key?
Just starting up front, our offensive line played great. And even when they're great defensive line, they had great guys up front. But even when that happened, I'm scrambling out of the pocket. Our guys made plays. They got open for me.
You made the decision to come back and announced it before this game. What went into that decision?
The ultimate goal, the dream come true for me would be to win a national title at Oklahoma. That's why I came there. So coming back, so it's exciting. I love my fans, but first I want to give a huge shout out. Samaje Perine broke the rushing record all time at OU.
Samaje Perine, more than 4,000 yards rushing. He breaks the record of the great Billy Sims. Quite a night. What are you looking forward to now as you get ready for next season?
Well, I'm going to enjoy this one tonight with my teammates, with the seniors for the last time with them. But, this is a great stepping stone for us in 2017. We worked hard, we set a mindset, and we know what we're capable of and also what we have to do each week. So it'll be a good stepping stone for us.
All right, here's Dennis Waldron from the Sugar Bowl Executive Committee with your trophy. Once again, congratulations to Baker Mayfield, our most outstanding player, head coach Bob Stoops, and the Oklahoma Sooners 2017 All-State Sugar Bowl champions.
Well, Jess, I think everybody got a glimpse of Baker Mayfield's major communications. He'll be on this side of the microphone someday.
No doubt about it. And what can you say about Bob Stoops and this football team and Baker Mayfield and the way they handled the adversity early in the year, starting 1-2, and then just sticking together, gelling together with their backs against the wall and fighting and improving. Became the first team in Big 12 history to go 9-0 in the regular season. And what a way to cap it off here with a great win in the Sugar Bowl. You just heard Baker Mayfield say it. His goal is to win a national championship next year. And with the talent they're going to have around him on offense and the defense that has a lot of talent on that side as well, it's recruited very well on that side, they're going to have an opportunity, I think, not just to win an 11th Big 12 championship for Bob Stoops, but get back to the playoff.
Now, remember, next year with the Big 12, after they play the round robin, the two best teams will meet for the championship down in Jerry Jones Palace down there in Arlington. So it's going to be a tough go, but it should help the Big 12 position for the playoff.
Absolutely. And, they're going to have to be road warriors. They've got to play at Ohio State next year. They've got to go at Baylor. They've got to go at Kansas State, who's going to be good. And they've got to go at Oklahoma State and Bedlam. But I think with Baker Mayfield and the skill they have, they're going to have all the talent. If they can start faster next year, maintain that consistency. You just heard Bob Stoops winning tonight. Huge momentum boost for them heading into 2017 season.
Well, listen, Jess, another great year, my friend.
Happy New Year, my man.
Oh, yes, indeed. Look forward to the next one, lad. And that'll do it from here. The Sugar Bowl champions, the Oklahoma Sooners, after giving up a touchdown to Auburn on the Tigers' first drive, they respond and close out with a 35-19 victory. So, SportsCenter is coming up with Scott Van Pelt right after these messages. And folks, Jesse Palmer is going to be one of the guests. Oh, great insight still coming up.
The Ford postgame is brought
taking the time to be with us. And Oklahoma finishes this season off with 10 consecutive wins as they marched through that and ended it off tonight against a very impressive Auburn front. What most impressed you about this Sooner team?
Well, I think it was probably the defense and their ability to be physical. I think coming into tonight's game, they were supposed to get bullied. Auburn was going to line up, and they were healthy on offense with Cam Petway back in the lineup, and they were going to run all over them. It's been an Oklahoma Sooner defense that really was up and down with consistency all season long, but they played physical at the point of attack, really slowed down that rushing attack, and offensively, against easily the best D-line they've seen all season long, Oklahoma with Joe Mixon and Samaje Perine, they were able to have success on the ground and really wear Auburn down. That was probably the most surprising thing to me in tonight's game. Oklahoma easily was the more physical team.
And I'm the kind of guy that I'd love more. I mean, look, 2 teams wasn't enough, 4 in the playoffs, great. USC and Oklahoma, I mean, you throw them in the mix, and I don't think anybody would want to play either one of these teams. Do you? If we're talking about a playoff, clearly those 2 teams right there would be like wild card teams in the NFL, capable of winning it all. Am I right?
Yeah, that's exactly it, really. Ultimately, when you're talking about that kind of formula and that design, ultimately you're giving credit to the teams late in the season that are playing the best football. But you're right. When you looked at teams like everybody you just mentioned, even Penn State, the way they finished the year, too, there wasn't really anybody in the country that wanted to play any of those bodies. And it would be interesting if we expanded that format to see how this national championship picture could change every year.
For Auburn, when they lost Sean White to their quarterback to injury, and they had a lead early, did that effectively end their chances because they became so one-dimensional?
Yeah, I think so, and that's really sort of been an issue for them on offense this year. Back during the season, when Sean White was healthy, he was playing at a very, very high level, and this offense just had so much more balance. They're an offense that wants to run the football and set up play-action passing opportunities down the field. He re-injures his shoulder early in this game. John Franklin comes in, who's an outstanding athlete, but the offense obviously becomes one-dimensional, and that'll be something interesting I think we'll look at as we spin forward and look at the Auburn Tigers, that quarterback position next year, because Sean White's coming back. Jarrett Stidham, the transfer from Baylor, who's an outstanding thrower of the football, he could make things very, very interesting for this offense. Talking to Gus Malzahn yesterday, he thought the talent coming back next year gives the Auburn Tigers a chance to maybe have the best team they've had since he's been there as the head coach. Of course, they went to the national championship back in 2013. So Jarrett Stidham, Sean White, needing and having more balance on offense next year throwing the football could make things very interesting for Auburn in the SEC.
And Baker Mayfield says he's going back to Norman, so that gives OU reason to be optimistic next year with that playmaker, man. He is one fun player to watch play football. Jesse, appreciate the time. Happy New Year. Look forward to our paths crossing somewhere soon, I hope.
Happy New Year, brother.
If you love college football, you just have to figure out a way at some point to attend the